Ismail from Chamba.
Yeah.
सर जो कॉलम नंबर 16 है उसमें जो लोएस्ट क्लास बताई गई वो सर प्राइमरी क्लासेस के लिए एक है और जो हाईएस्ट है सर वो वहाँ पे आपने फोर्थ बताया सर, जबकि प्राइमरी में जो क्लास है वो फर्स्ट से फिफ्थ तक होती है सर।
ठीक है,
तो वहाँ पे जो है क्लास जो 5 बार आ जाएगा या 4 बार आ जाएगा सर?
देखिए वहाँ पर जब हमने बताया था कि लोएस्ट क्लास, अगर मान लीजिए एक प्राइमरी ओनली स्कूल है, उसमें हमने कहा था कि लोएस्ट क्लास अगर 1 फंक्शनल है वहाँ पर तो आप 1 लिखेंगे, और हाईएस्ट क्लास चाहे वो 1 to 5 का स्कूल है लेकिन फंक्शनल क्लास 4 है अगर, तो आप 4 लिखेंगे, 5 नहीं लिखेंगे। अगर हाईएस्ट फंक्शनल क्लास लिखनी है यहाँ पे, अगर 1 to 8 का स्कूल है और हाईएस्ट फंक्शनल क्लास 7 है तो आप 7 लिखेंगे, 8 नहीं लिखेंगे।
Can I also add to it, sir?
Yeah.
Friend, as to, I mean, I can understand the confusion between 1 to 4 and 1 to 5 is, but why have you provided this provision? Otherwise, if you just specify that a school is primary only, we should consider it as 1 to 5. But why we have provided it? Because there are schools which are running classes 1 to 3. If you go to Manipur, you will find some schools which are considered as lower primary schools, and these schools run classes from 1 to 3. Similarly, there are about 11 to 12 states where the primary cycle itself is 1 to 4. It's not uniform in the country that every primary school will have classes 1 to 5. So there are different states and large states also like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Kerala, these states, and some northeastern states as well, Assam. They have primary classes as 1 to 4, upper primary classes as 5 to 7, which in your case, an upper primary school will begin with 6 and end at 8. So there are different elementary education cycles. Even for secondary, there are different cycles. So therefore, this provision has been made. Friends, whenever you call, please ask your question. Go ahead and ask your question, complete question at once. We will not be able to, interact with you like that.
Okay, sir. Okay. Can I ask a question now?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello.
We can listen to you, please.
Can I ask a question now?
Yes, why not?
Okay, sir. Sir, it was given in the form as number of working days spent on non-teaching assignments. So what about the non-teaching assignment? That specification can be given in the form later. Non-teaching assignments means the teacher will be asking you what are all the non-teaching assignments the teacher will be doing in the school. Hello?
Well, yeah, we got your question. It's a very good question that what days should be considered as non-teaching assignments. Friends, you would know that it is the teachers merely for every single duty. It is the teacher who is given to do a lot of work apart from teaching also in the school. For example, if it is the decennial census which happens every 10 years, teachers are to go to homes, go to visit homes in the villages, areas, and cities also. They go to each and every household. So if they are not coming to school and spending their time somewhere else for this, number 2, they are sent for election duties, and which is as per the RT Act also, which is legitimate, and they can send them. But still, to come to know as to how many teachers were sent for how many days for duties other than teaching. So all those days should be considered as non-teaching assignments. Teachers are also sent for these pulse polio abhiyans. They are also sent for sometimes the counting of kettles, something like that. Any survey, teachers would be involved. So if the teacher is not teaching and assigned a different job, all such days should be considered.
We have now received a set of another many questions. Is it sufficient to fill one form for 1 to 10 classes in the school? Yes, since morning we are saying that each school has to fill up only one form. So 1 to 10 school will also be filling up only one form. Then one very interesting question is raised. Should we answer all the questions? Definitely. Each and every question is to be answered. Otherwise there is no fun in keeping these questions in the data capture format. Then one question is that this session is very explanatory. please made available all this session in the video format. Very soon, hopefully by evening, the video recording as well as the audio recording will be available, or the link will be available at dice.in, and the link was also sent to all of you at ssaindia@googlegroups.com so far as the 6th September program is concerned. You can also visit us at youtube.com/acmehta100, where you will get not only these video clips but the video clips of all our other programs. Yes, let me call. Yes, please. Yes, Tamil Nadu, Vellore. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I would like to get clarifications on variable 3.1, sir. Page number 17. Hello.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. There is grade entry level. Ms. Naveen Bhatia explained the entry level for high school. The entry level for a high school is 6th standard. But the real ambiguity lies in case of nursery and primary schools, that too particularly the schools begin with LKG. So in case of such a school, which would be the entry level according to our insight, either LKG or first standard? Hello?
Yeah, we got your question. Thank you. Well, friend, we appreciate your question. And the thing is that the RTE Act says that the admission of up to 25% should be given to the disadvantaged group and weaker section, children belonging to disadvantaged and weaker sections. Well, friend, this is applicable in yes, this is applicable at entry level in primary schools which begin with grade 1 or lower. So admission would take place only in grade 1 or lower if it is nursery, KG or something like that. If the admission takes place at that level, it is applicable for that level. And for the particular year, for the current year, we are asking how many such children have been admitted at the entry level itself. So it doesn't apply to the higher levels, right?
Yes, please. Welcome Karnataka for the first time in this program. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, we can listen you.
Hello?
We can listen you, please.
Hello?
Please ask your question.
Hello?
There is some communication gap. In the meantime, we can take another question, please. We have just received a question that is the DICE data format is compulsory for private school? Definitely. We have already said.
Out. Please speak out your question.
Yes, we can now listen you.
Hello?
There is some problem, please. Is the DICE data format is compulsory for private schools? A question has come up from the Himachal Pradesh. You know better than us that all the schools imparting school education, irrespective of a school management category type, are supposed to be covered under DICE 2013-14. So we have to explore all possibilities and ensure that all the schools, including private schools, are covered under DICE 2013-14.
There's another question which is very interesting. It says, what should I enter in the medium of instruction if the school says it is semi-English? So semi-English, there is nothing like semi-English or semi-Hindi. It is medium of instruction in which your textbooks are available and the teachers are teaching to your children. See, if your science book as well as mathematics book, in whichever language these two, and social studies, these 2-3 books are available, the same should be considered as medium of instruction. It is very much possible that the books are available in Hindi, but while interacting with children, teachers are using Hindi language or any other language as well. But the medium of instruction in that case will be considered as English. It cannot be semi-English or English and Hindi, mix of two of the things. Yeah, please.
Yes, please. Go ahead, please. Yes, we can listen you. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Well, my question is, as in the new type data text format, we are giving all the information regarding
concerning school and other aspects, then why we are not including the information of dropout and enrolled children in this type?
Friends, this is the data capture format which is developed keeping in mind that the requirement of all the 35 states, all the variables which have got nationwide implications are only kept in data capture format. But so far as the dropouts are concerned, it's very important question we should have asked. But there are many ways through which we can indirectly compute number of dropouts or dropout rate in primary stage, at primary stage or upper primary stage. So directly we are not collecting information on dropouts, but there are scientific methods available through which by using the grade-wise enrollment and grade-wise repeaters, one can easily compute average annual dropout rate at primary level of education as well as upper primary level of education, which can be computed separately for boys, girls at any level, state level, district level. So there is no question in the data capture format on the dropout. Yes, please. Go ahead, please. Please ask your question. Please be fast, please, or we take another question from the studio. We can take another one question from the studio also.
There is a query from a user saying that in the question number 19, distance in kilometer from primary school to upper primary or from upper primary to secondary. If both the schools are in same campus, then what will be the distance to be written in the column? Here we suggest that you write 4 times 9 in the data capture format. If two schools, primary and upper primary or upper primary and secondary, both the schools are in the same campus, then the distance is some point meters. Instead of writing in points or instead of writing in 1 kilometer, just write 4 times 9. If both the schools are in the same campus, then write 4 times 9 in this particular question. Question number 19, distance from primary to upper primary school and distance from upper primary to secondary school.
Raji, you want to say something?
I would like to add one more, take one more question, sir, which is very important. Somebody has asked whether IERT can be included in school teachers' data. IERT, as I understand that it is Inclusive Education Resource Teachers. Friends, there are two types of resource teachers, IE resource teachers, which are available to various schools. One is those these resource teachers for IE, who visit schools say once in a week or twice in a week maximum for maybe a couple of hours, and they only concentrate on particular children to give them some guidance, which are for inclusive education. At the same time, there are some schools where we have these IERT, which is Inclusive Education Resource Teachers, available full-time in the school, and they are working with the school on daily basis. If IERT's resource teachers are available to your school on daily basis, kindly consider them adding them into the teachers list. Otherwise, please do not. If the teacher is only visiting sometimes, once in a week or twice in a week or thrice in a week, don't include them in the teachers list, because otherwise this will be used for calculating the pupil-teacher ratio. So we shouldn't add them.
Yes, please.
If somebody has asked if school's record is not available for establishment of school due to poor record maintenance, what should we write in it? Well, friends, this is a very important question, and we find that the establishment of school keep changing. Year of establishment of school keep changing from year on year. So therefore, to make it fix, this we have discussed in our previous year's programs also, that if it is not available at all, because if records are not maintained or they are washed off due to any reason, in that case what you can probably do is, you will have to maybe talk to some older people in the village, in the vicinity. They can tell you some kind of an idea when the school was opened, initiated in the, what was the year of establishment, and that year of establishment then should be recorded in the school's records and say that the school was recorded in this. And please maintain this information for all the years to come. Whenever the information is asked on year of establishment, you should use the same year of establishment for providing this data. Friend, sir, I would also like to add a little on the dropout question which somebody has asked, why don't we collect dropout information? Friends, there are two particular reasons why as to we do not collect this information. One, there is no uniform definition of dropouts across the country. As you know, this particular data capture format is applicable to all the children in all the schools in the country. And due to lack of a uniform definition of dropouts in the country, we don't use it. Number two, it is very difficult for school to trace back all the children who have gone out from the school. Suppose a child was studying in grade 3, in the next year he hasn't come, he has been transferred somewhere else. Now it's very difficult for you to consider that child as dropout, or if the child may have attended another school. So therefore, it is difficult to do that. Yes.
Well, friends, we have received a large number of questions through SMS and also from the studios, IGNOU studios located across the country. I'm very sorry that we could not take up all the questions because of the time. We are almost running, our time is almost over. Well, friends, through this training, this orientation program of today, we are quite confident that the points which my friends have raised, you might have already taken care of these points. You will ensure that we reach all the uncovered schools. You will make the list of the schools which are yet to be covered under the DICE. These schools are to be initialized so that the data capture format from the software is printed. We will ensure that all the schools imparting school education, irrespective of the management of the school and the category of a school, whether it is the recognized schools or unrecognized school, whether it is private or aided or unaided, or the schools run by the KENVI by the central government, all schools we will reach that, all such schools. The other point which we have raised is that the CRC coordinator will ensure that the forms reach to all these schools and the filled in formats are collected back and checked by the CRC 100% basis, and then only pass it on to the BRC level, and our MIS coordinators, maybe at the district level or block level, they will thoroughly check and run the consistency module and try to remove all the inconsistency in the filled in formats, and the school report cards will reach back to school. It is mandatory to put the school report cards in a prominent place. We are also quite confident that the data will be shared, and both the RMSA as well as the SSA officers will use it, utilize it, share it, discuss, sit together and discuss the outcome of the DICE 2013-14 with particular reference to the school education, including the elementary level of education and secondary level of education. There are many issues and a few variables which we have mentioned in this program. You will give special consideration this year so as to ensure that the full and correct information is supplied by our respondents, and we are we are grateful to all our listeners across the country, those who have participated in this program. And as we have already said that the video recording will be available very soon at www.dice.in. Keep watching, keep visiting dice.in and schoolreportcards.in. Till then, thank you and goodbye. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.